Really good, right?
Nice and crispy.
So over the years, watching a bunch of food videos, I have seen just about every YouTuber make themselves what they call the perfect fry, either the crispiest fry or the best oven-baked fry or the best whatever fry. Recently, I saw Emmy made where she made the classic McDonald's French fry recipe. And then I was immediately suggested Ethan Chablowski, I hope I'm saying your name right. I was immediately suggested his video on reimagining Adam Ragusia's oven crispy French fries. From that point, I fell down the rabbit hole of French fries and I decided to see what would happen if we mixed them all together. So today, we're not doing a remix, we're doing a mix up. We're gonna be mixing up all of some of my favorite French fry recipes I found on the internet, everything from Emmy made, Ethan Chablowski, we're gonna be using Adam Ragusia's techniques, and even Josh Weissman and Internet Shaquille. Now, Internet Shaquille didn't make any French fries, but he did make some good crispy oven potatoes. So let's get moving on making some of the internet's best French fries. Okay, so to make these perfect French fries, the very first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna be peeling them, and then we're gonna slice them into 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch shoestrings. Now, while we're peeling and chopping, I'm gonna be bringing about 1 quart of water up to a boil. Now, I'm just using large russet potatoes, I believe, for these French fries. That seems to be what everybody is using, is the russet potatoes. So that's why we're doing that. Doesn't matter which YouTube guru you go with, russet seems to be the choice. Now, Emmy Made used a mandolin to slice hers, but my mandolin doesn't really seem to have that 1/4 inch setting. It seems to be just a little bit, like a hair smaller. So I'm just gonna do what everybody else does, all the other gurus, and we're just gonna slice these with a knife. So I'm just gonna slice 1/4 inch planks, hopefully. Then we're gonna take those planks and slice into long 1/4 inch fries. Okay, so now we have a fry that's a little bit larger than a McDonald's fry. It's probably like one of the bigger fries in a series of McDonald's fries. Not as big as Adam's or Ethan's, but probably slightly bigger than Emmy Made's. We're hoping that these shrink a little bit, which I'm assuming they will, and this should match more of the McDonald's fry than any of them. So now let's move over to boiling. So once our water comes to a boil, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of vinegar and a large pinch of kosher salt. The vinegar is going to slow down the breakdown of pectin, which is going to also add a slight skin to the outside of the potato, makes the potato more firm. That's according to Ethan Chablowski, and I believe he also got that from Kenji Lopez. Now, the boiling technique comes from Adam Ragusia, where Adam actually just boils his potatoes in water until they're about to fall apart. The vinegar kind of stops that problem. Now, Adam and Ethan both boil their potatoes for 8 minutes. We're gonna boil ours for 5, and I'll let you know here in a second why. Okay, once the potatoes are done boiling, we're just gonna pour those through a colander. You can see that the potatoes are a little bit more rubbery than they would have been if we didn't add that vinegar. That's kind of fun. We're gonna let those sit over to the side in the colander while we make our brine. Go ahead and add 2 cups to the same pot and bring that up to almost a low boil. We just wanna get the water hot. And then we're gonna add a 1/4 cup of white sugar and 2 tablespoons of white corn syrup to a bowl. Now, this is the classic McDonald's brine that Emmy made in her video. Now, McDonald's brines their fries in sugars to allow it to get like a crispier crunch and outside. I think combined with everything else, we're gonna end up with a pretty good potato. Now, one of the things that I've noticed is that a few YouTubers, Josh Weissman, when he was making his fries, and Internet Shaquille, when he was making like his potato recipe, was they added baking soda. Now, baking soda actually helps contribute to the breakdown of pectin. Now, we added vinegar to our boiling water to kind of boil the potatoes, cook them through, but we didn't want them to fall apart in the boil. Now that we're making our brine, I feel like it's gonna be okay to add the baking soda to assist in that breakdown, because obviously there's a reason why people do it. I'm assuming it's so you have the crunchy exterior outside and the soft potato inside versus maybe a chewier potato from the other method. So let's go ahead, we're gonna add a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda to our brine mixture here. Now I'm just gonna whisk in my hot water, melt that sugar, mix in that cornstarch and brine, or that corn syrup and brine in the brine. Then we're gonna add an additional large pinch of salt and then add our potatoes right into the brine. Now, Emmy Maid had her potatoes in the brine for about a half an hour. I'm gonna go ahead, because we've already cooked these for about 5 minutes, I'm gonna cut that time in almost half, so we're gonna do it about 20 minutes. We're gonna knock off about 10 minutes off of that. We're gonna throw these in the refrigerator, allow this brine to soak in. This is gonna sweeten it along with that saltiness that was there. I think the combination of all of these techniques is gonna give us like the perfect crispy, crunchy, you know, kind of smaller, not perfectly shoestring fry. I think this is gonna be really amazing. I'm kind of excited to see the difference of what happens by kind of reversing from the vinegar to not break down the pectin in the potato to breaking down the pectin now in this baking soda bath. It's kind of a fun experiment, and I think this is gonna really work out. Let's throw these in the fridge for about 20 minutes. Okay, so these have sat for the 20 minutes in their brine. They do feel a little bit softer, but honestly, they still have that rigidness that they had from the original boil. The next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna drain these. We're just gonna slowly pour these into a colander, allow them to drip dry for a few minutes. I'm gonna preheat my oven for 450 degrees. Now, this is based off of the Adam Ragusea method where he boiled then baked. We're just gonna combine those methods and cut it a little bit short because we're gonna be doing a little bit different. We're not gonna be baking these all the way through. We're gonna bring them back to fry. But first, let's get the bake done. Okay, so these have been able to drip dry for just a few minutes. We're just going to line them up on a baking sheet. I'm gonna line them up with just a little bit of space between them. Now, Adam and Ethan both coat their fries before baking them. Adam coats his fries in an extra virgin olive oil. I believe it's because of like a taste thing. And Adam just doesn't, I don't believe he holds any value to the specific types of fats and things that are used. And then where Ethan specifically says peanut oil actually has higher saturated fats, so that's gonna get you a better crispier, better flavorful fry. So we're gonna go ahead and use the peanut oil on these, and we're just gonna completely coat them on the baking dish before baking them. There's a decent amount of oil, so all I'm gonna do is just kind of take a brush and just make sure that they're completely coated here. And then all I'm gonna do is just make sure that there's enough space between all the fries so that way each fry has its own individual space to be able to cook and crisp up. Okay, so the oven's ready. It's preheated to 450 degrees. We're gonna go ahead and toss these into the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. I just want them to get slightly golden. We're just gonna give them their initial cook. So let's go ahead and get that going. I mean, these things are just cooking perfectly. Perfectly. Okay, so these fries have been cooking for about 15 minutes. They are definitely not done. It looks like they're browned on one side pretty good. We're just gonna move them over gently because these do feel a little soggy. I don't wanna break them. Some of them are kind of coming apart. We're gonna do our best to keep these as pretty solid fries. Now, to finish these fries off and give them their final crispy exterior, we're going to fry them. Now, McDonald's fries their fries in a combination of oil and beef tallow. Now, that's something that I learned from Emmy Maid, and I've heard that in the past before, but we're not gonna be using beef tallow. I make everything plant-based on this channel, so we're gonna be using my plant-based duck fat that I made in my potato stack video just about a week or two ago. So we're gonna be using a combination of this and peanut oil. Peanut oil is gonna have that higher saturated fat, which is gonna give us a crispier, better, more flavorful outside crisp and crunch on our fry. I think these are gonna be really good. So we're gonna fill our Dutch oven with 6 cups of peanut oil and a 1/4 cup of our plant-based duck fat. We're gonna heat that up to about 400 degrees. Once we got that at 400 degrees, we're gonna toss these fries in and allow them to fry in 2 batches until we get that golden exterior. This should only take just a few moments, and then you remove them. We're gonna throw them on a rack, and then they're gonna be ready to go. Delicious, beautiful, perfect, every YouTuber's perfect French fry. Then as soon as these fries are done cooking, we're just gonna go ahead and add some salt to them. Now I'm just gonna do a few pinches of salt and then give them a toss. Now I know Adam used a bunch of seasonings and things like that. I'm not doing that. To me, French fries are covered in salt. And then, here they are. This is a bowl of the best fries, combination of every one of the best recipes ever made by all YouTubers. Here it is. Look at that. Look at that. That is like a McDonald's fry on steroids. Oh, amazing. Oh, it's unbelievable. Baby. So there's a little bit of sweetness there from the brine that was added, along with some saltiness because of the salt, the way they were flavored. They're crispy because of the method in which they were cooked. The potato itself is dense and soft. What would you compare these to?
I mean, they taste like McDonald's fries.
Do they?
I think so.
Yeah, they have kind of like a McDonald's fry, but better. Thanks, baby.
The SauceStache way.
Yeah, the SauceStache McDonald's fry.